Welcome to Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. Looking forward to seeing many of your smiling faces online and riffing around a Friday. Jason's in the background, but a little bit of a disclaimer as we get things moving. This is general advice only and should not be replaced for advice from your professionals, your core 4 team, your advisor, your accountant, your broker. This is where Jason and I get to decant the week, have a little bit of a chat about what's been going on in the world, and have a glass of wine in the process. For those of you who have been here before, you know the house rule. Have a bit of a yarn, jump into the chat, let us know that you're here, let us know where you're in from, and make sure that you're always friendly to those that are around us. This is Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, ladies and gents, and looking forward to getting into it. I'll bring Jason, the offsider, the compadre, the number one man in to the session with me now. G'day, Jace.
How are you, mate? A little bit of technical difficulties in the background there, folks. No fancy music or intros today, but all you need is our smiling faces, I suppose. Great to have you here, and welcome along to Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks. On the white wine today, it's been a bit warm up here, Fenton. Before I saw you in your puffer jacket, mate, and you're toughing it out down there in Melbourne.
Mate, well, actually, it's a beautiful, shiny day down here today. It's beautiful. I just, force of habit, I keep on wearing the damn thing. I was sweating in there, mate, sweating. It's balmy, beautiful down here in Melbourne. And unlike you Queenslanders, we actually appreciate good weather because we don't have that much of it. So, mate, it's good to see you. Yeah, and here's the thing. Is anybody else out there finding that with the whole, AI transformation that's coming into, our phones, our computers, and do you find that things are breaking a bit? Like every now and again, you jump into Zoom. Zoom's changed something. It breaks here. It does a little bit of that. So we're experiencing that here. I'm experiencing it a little bit on the phone as well. But let us know if you're experiencing the good old AI glitches that are coming into your technology. But from us and from our side of the equation team, that's the reason why there was no intro today. So we'll just have to do our best. For those of you who are new, Wealth, Wine and Wisdom is where Jason and I debrief the week. It started back in COVID times where we were trying to do a public service by helping our clients and our friends and our greater network of people understand what the rules of the game were because they were changing so rapidly in COVID. And we helped thousands of businesses and investors around Australia over those 2 years. We saved hundreds of businesses from going belly up and educating a number of you how to be able to keep more of what you make and use the rules to your advantage. It all started there. We took a year and a half or maybe even 2 years break. That was really just to cleanse the liver. And now we're back with public debt soaring towards $1 trillion. We're going to have a little bit of a chat about Victoria today as well in that vein. Public debt going up to $1 trillion. They're not doing anything about the shortage of property out there either. This isn't just a shifting of the sands. This is economic reshaping of the entire world. I was about to say universe, but I'm not that educated on that. Things out of our planet. But Wealth, Wine and Wisdom is your clarity. It's your compass. We're hoping to give you the facts rather than the fiction or the clickbait journalism that tends to be trying to capture your attention through fear. We want to give you information that you can use practically to go out there and make a positive change in your life. This is our opportunity to decant the week, and we do it with a glass of wine. And I'm going to shout out, just on the glass of wine side, to the team down at Barmer Park, just around the corner from me. This is one of their Pinot Gris, Jace. I wish I could be sharing it with you, but I'm glad that I'm not. Because
I don't mind a bit of Pinot Gris. I'm a white fan. Pinot Gris is good, especially in a hot afternoon.
Jason loves calling me from down by the pool when I'm freezing my bum off up here or down here, should I say. But afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing super well. I reckon there's a fair bit to talk about, Jace. So we'll see whether the real plays, but I think it's time to decant the week.
Yeah. Can you press the button? I'd give it a crack. All right. Well, let's just roll straight into it without any fanfare, folks. What are we talking about this week? Andy, folks, listening in, insolvencies. I've talked about this a few times when it comes to the world of businesses around Australia right now, and still insolvencies at record highs or up above record averages, well beyond those record averages. A sad state of affairs, Andy. But for those who are out there in this space, if you sort of track along a line like this, we had some high times in the 2008s, probably spurred off by the GFC, and there was, a few years of flow through on that. Often, folks, when there's a financial shock in the system, governments and banks and other institutions kind of soften that blow for a bit, or it takes a bit of time to wash through, Andy, folks, and that comes a little bit later in the piece. So right now we had our COVID times where the government was giving money away like drunken sailors, and certainly we didn't know what was going to happen. So many of us squirreled away, tightened the belt, and chipped away at putting money in the savings accounts, and businesses slowed down, but they didn't go bust. But look at this problem from here to there, Andy, folks. This is the challenge that many of us are seeing out in the marketplace when it comes to this stuff. It's a sad state of affairs, and it is certainly one of those places and spaces which, if you look in here, the construction industry, which then plagues our issues when it comes to construction insolvencies, Andy, and along with food and accommodation services as well. So, the cafes, restaurants, those sorts of things.
That's a good thing that they kicked up minimum wage. That really helped out all of those businesses.
Well, remember you and I were talking about this. This is what happens often. There's this rebound effect where that visa worker. There was a visa where you could employ people. You could employ people, and it was artificially compressing their hourly wage. It was well over 10 years. It wasn't indexed. I think it was like 13 or 14 years. And then all of a sudden, the government said, no, we can't do that anymore. And wages, almost went up 50, 80%. And your average coffee maker, your average restaurateur / cafe owner just couldn't handle that type of increase in salaries, and you couldn't pass it on. These days you pay $9 for a damn coffee.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
You go, Harry, good to see you. It's
great buying them for the family. It's a $50 coffee round these days. It's crazy.
There you go. Hey, there's Craig. He's up there in Tully and Ayr and in the north. Good to see you, mate. Alexis had a few of her clients close their businesses, there you go. The knock-on effect of clients and clients and clients. So, this sort of leads into my point today on the real estate game, and what does that mean for real estate, folks? On the flip side, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's a pro, it's a con and a pro if you're on one side or another. So the completions of new houses and construction certainly still going quite slow. Check out this one. Here's the baseline of houses we can construct. It's been dead flat for 10 years there. It's probably been even flatter for a long time. I've said this for ages. Cairns. Craig. I was grasping at straws, Craig, but I'm glad you hooked me up, mate. It's North Queensland, far north anyway. No, we love Cairns.
Yeah, so it's good that they've been doing their approvals, isn't it? Yeah, they've been doing their jobs. It really shows how much, how little work comes out of your shire.
Well, the only time we really got our wriggle on was in sort of 15, 16, 17, and which was really the world where we started to get a little bit of overseas momentum when it came to investing in property in Australia. Yes. Now, listen, I'm a big fan. If that's managed well, I think it works. I don't think governments manage it very well. I think they just let it a bit loose. But anyway, they went from everyone can come in to no one can come in, and the medium density or high density dwellings just fell through the roof. Now, they're the ones that we're struggling with, folks. It's not housing per se. It's not houses. There was a spike in COVID of houses being approved and sold, but we shit the bed severely there and couldn't build them. But has the drill. Half as many houses are being built per hour work today compared to 30 years ago. Now, does that mean that everyone's lazy? Well, no, doesn't mean that. It's like people are bludging. But what it means is, lack of innovation, much more difficult to build houses speedily with legislation and red tape and all sorts of rubbish, right? Getting things approved, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a bit of an issue we got to try and solve. And I'm gonna finish on a high note here, folks. Actually,
let me just throw out a low note before you do, just because I've got a quick idea, Jason. I know how to decrease the value or the price of new property by 40% like that.
How do we do it, Fenton?
You take your taxes and you stick them straight up your jatsy.
Yeah, the government, it's close to 40% of the construction cost of a new dwelling is taxes, direct and indirect. It's a joke, absolute joke. But here's the drill. Can we fix the housing productivity issue? Well, I mean, it's a big pronged question, that one. But apartment dwellings fall, and the time to build them, folks, is gone up significantly. Look at that, 35 months compared to I don't know, let's say here, what's that, sort of 22 or 25 months compared to 35 months. So that's probably like a 40% increase or something like that, or 30% increase.
Outrageous.
Outrageous.
Are we just worse at building houses now? Like, how is it that how is it that these statistics are real? Because shouldn't we be better and be building them faster with technology uplifts and innovation, etc.?
Well, you would think so. And this is my bugbear, the sort of the high density dwelling. There's many issues here. A few of them are the legislation and the approvals around high density dwellings, the time frame to get them approved and complete. The other ones are certainly when it comes to unionized workforces, they've doubled the time frames and the construction is slower. That's just a fact. Queensland now is trying to clean that up because they know it's a problem for productivity. So here's some things. Now, those things I think are going to take time. But what drives approvals? Now, let's just take a step back. Yeah.
I love this.
Get the trades to turn up.
I was trying to bring it up there, Brad. And the funny thing is, Bradley's just saying you have to get the tradies to turn up. Aren't you a tradie, Brad? Brad's at home going, didn't turn up today.
No. So this is the thing. We got to get them to turn up. The cost is massive. We've got some competing priorities when it comes to certainly places like Queensland and big government infrastructure projects, but they'll pay twice as much on a government project than you will on a residential housing project. Yes. That's bullshit as far as I'm concerned. The job's the job. At the end of the day. But listen, apartments fall in dwelling approvals. So I want to chuck this out there. Yeah, Craig, that's it. Timeframes and cost, exactly. And these are the things that there's some legitimate reasons why costs have gone up, especially for trades. One of the big reasons why many tradies have gone bust or had problems is they would quote a job today, and then the materials and labor to do the job tomorrow, just shifts so fast. So the risk is quite high for them.
Well, and the cost of a RAM these days has gone through the roof, Jason.
Now listen, this is not a wank. This is not a wank comment, but I drive a Porsche, and a Land Cruiser is more expensive than my Porsche. Now, what planet, what universe do you live in when a fucking Land Cruiser, costs 50% more than a Porsche? Now,
wind up windows still. They've still got the wind up windows.
You got to do a manual. Anyway, times are changing. That's for sure. As Trina said. So there you go. But
I think we've just made some big enemies over West, Jason. There'll be the mining resources boys going, these wankers don't know what they're talking about.
That's it. But I'm trying to make a point here, which I'm going to try and finish on a positive note, which is probably one of the first times I'm able to be a bit positive. I'm sure they'll fuck this up anyway, but a bit positive about the property supply chain and the government. And there you go. There you go. Look, this is the thing. That's right, Craig. So, copper cables change 5-day cycles can go up 30%. That's fucking crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah. There's some risk in that sort of shit, right? So that's the volatility. Anyway, the point is this. I think, here we go.
We take a while to get to a positive point round here.
I was trying to get to a positive point, Penton. Let me go. Let me cook here. All right. Anyway, listen, positive point. Perth houses hit the 1 million milestone, and Sydney hits a record 1.76.
Wow.
That's crazy. Big numbers for your average house price in these places. And a little while ago, Perth was, probably 3 or 4 years ago, was still licking its wounds from the mining bust, 10 years before. But listen, here's the drill. Now, I'm loath to do this because I hate Labor. I think they're a bunch of wankers. But right now, something's going on, which I might need to give them their due, and only now and then. So they've said, all right, the New South Wales Labor government said, listen, we've got to get our shit together here, and we've got to do something about getting some supply going. Now, they want to unlock supply.
That comment must have sent shockwaves through the parliament when they said that.
There you go. We're going to unlock supply. Now, one of their moves is to give away, the future of Australian residential real estate to big corporations that aren't in Australia, which I think is despicable. However, one of the things that they have done, which is going to help turbocharge new supply, is this. Now, I'm going to share a website, and Sammy Saggers showed us this the other day, folks. Have a look at this. This is crazy. Now, do a little poll in the chat, folks. What is the one thing that can accelerate the beginning of construction when it comes to high density dwellings or any multi-density dwellings? Folks, chuck it in the chat. Now, you've got an approval. How do you get finance? What do you need to do? It's probably already on the on the screen. But listen, you need pre-sales in a development. And the New South Wales government has been calling now for expressions of interest on $1 billion pre-sales finance guarantee open for business. Now, what does this mean? Let me get to the point I'm going to throw over to you, Andy, because I think I've been laboring this one a bit. There's the double pun, boom. So basically, the government is going to underwrite pre-sales. Exactly, Sarah. They're going to underwrite the pre-sales. Now, they're not underwriting it. We all know this. Fucking you and I are the taxpayer. But
well done, Jason, for underwriting. I'm proud of you, mate.
What's going to happen? The government says, hey, listen, we'll sign contracts so you can get pre-sale finance and start your projects. And then what they're going to do is, as the homes, up to $1 billion revolving fund, they're going to allow you to sell them. They're going to take a 10% discounted position, but they will allow you to sell them forward and rescind the contract and sell it for more than they've underwritten it for, which I think that's fantastic. That's good. I think this is one of the we shouldn't have got here in the first place. Let's be really fucking honest. We shouldn't have to go to this fucking extreme for the government to underwrite private enterprise to buy. The government's destroyed the private buyer so drastically that the government has to underwrite the purchase of new fucking housing. Anyway, this is better. This is the best thing that I've seen since we've started this issue. So There you go, Fenton. It could be on like Donkey Kong in New South Wales if they get their shit together. Here's my caveat though. What'll happen is the jet this will pop the prices of the average off the plan property by how much percent? If the government took a 10% discount, what do you reckon the prices will go up? What do you reckon the that builders and developers will price them at? 10% more than they fucking should.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'll be really curious to see how this works. But anyway, if it works, it's the best one that I've seen yet, Andy, folks.
Did you see, Jace? Yeah, well, of course you did. We did an incredible event together, the exit plan over the last week, and Sam Saggers did a hilarious presentation, which was just great. But they've got pre-done architectural designs. And it's kind of like, so you can become a developer and just pick your plan, pick your house, shelf stock of like hundreds of different designs. You go, okay, that's the one. I'm going to be my own developer. Boom, boom, bush, no architect, no real approval needed. And just straight through with guaranteed pre-sales. So I reckon I'm going to have a little bit of a look at this, because I reckon we should be the ones in there having a good old red crack at this one.
Right, folks. Yep, we're going to get on the right side of the pink bat maneuver. And anytime the government gives away money or does this sort of stuff, someone ends up running away with a fair bit of coin. We're going to team up and we'll
do it the right way. We'll do it the right way. Hey, well, so look, all you have to do is you look at the 2020 vision in agriculture that created a $3.4 billion bust, because the government created all these tax incentives to reach a green 2020. Oh, this was probably the original green 2020 vision of forestation. And so they created this legislation, didn't limit it. It then got open to all different types of agribusiness. Then Collins Street started farming, and they totally fucked it up. And as a result, 3.4, or it might have even been $3.6 billion worth of investors' funds went. So here's my prediction, Jace. They're going to launch this. If they do, then they'll take their eye off it, and eventually there will be a haymaker that hits, and hopefully a lot of people are on the right side of it in the getting up and going phase. But whenever they do this, they drop the policy, they forget about it, and then somebody exploits it. Always happens.
Benton, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
It was a good positive. Land? It was a good positive, Jace. It was great. Yeah. So what I took from that is Jason now votes Labor. So
not that I'm not that far gone yet, mate.
So listen, I wanted to chat all things stock today, and I did promise everybody that I was going to show you some of the best performing EFTs and stocks that I've been looking at, and I'm going to show you what they are. It's not advice to go and buy them. I like to dabble and sort of gamble a little bit in the market. I'm going to call it gambling, but so it's not advice. Don't go out and buy this. Chat with your advisor and see whether they're the right things. But maybe you're interested, and in some of the things that I've been playing around with, which have done very, very, very well. But I thought we'll start here, because this tells the story as to the reason why I'm looking where I am in the markets, and the reason why I'm quite bullish over the next 15, 20 years. So if we have a look at the S&P 500, and so what's the S&P 500 team? It's the top 500 listed companies in America, right? And the top companies, meaning by market capitalization. What's that, a fancy term? It's like basically by the size of the company. All right, so it's the 500 largest companies in the US that are listed. And so if we look back, and this is really, really interesting, and if you don't find it interesting, well, keep listening. Anyway, you'll learn something. So 1990, the top 10 companies in America was IBM. Does anybody own an IBM computer anymore? Like, I don't even know if they still make them. ExxonMobil, Philips, Shell, Squibb,
General Electric.
Yep, General Electric.
Isn't Phil Morris? When Phil Morris cigarettes? Were they cigarettes or something?
I don't know.
All right, keep
Okay,
going.
yeah, Google that one, Witten. Come back to me.
Keep the momentum, Fenton.
AT&T, which is communication, the good old Coca-Cola. All right, so we fast forward a decade to the 2000. Pfizer jumped on there because they invented the blue pill, which kept people upright.
Was that in 2000?
Maybe he had some reason for late onset population. So Pfizer came on the scene. That's a bad pun, isn't it? That was totally unintended.
Okay. Computers, fuel, and cigarettes. There you go. There you go. It is. See? Yep. Yep. Ciggies.
So the Siggy companies. Walmart was still up there. Citigroup, so the financials started to come in there. AIG, which is also financials, and then the second lot, and Intel. All right, so this is where Intel came on the scene. So before Intel really got to be one of the largest companies, there was IBM. IBM's nowhere to be seen by this stage because IBM lost a race that they were winning, and they came out of the gates, they were flying, and they just shit the bed and lost the race.
Kodak and Nokia, mate.
Yeah, mate.
They missed the bed. Yep.
Just thought that they had the market, and they didn't. Right? They didn't innovate fast enough. Yeah, it was theirs to lose, and they lost. Still probably a massive company, but anyway, we saw Intel jump on the scene. So this was the start of the chip revolution, or as we're going to call it. Then 2010. Geez, what a difference a decade makes. ExxonMobil still up there. Apple rose to the top. Microsoft came from nowhere. It sounds like a horse race, doesn't it? GE started to fly. Chevron was behind them. IBM popped its head back up and said, hey, I'm back. I'm here. AT&T, Johnson & Johnson. Everyone loves a little bit of talcum powder. And another financials company that
Procter & Gamble was there too. There you go.
And so the mix of the market really changed. But have a look at the staggering change of the mix to now, right? And this tells the story. This one page tells an incredible story. And we could riff on this all night. But I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. Berkshire Hathaway, number 10. Yeah. Alphabet, which is Google, at number 8. Tesla. Remember when Tesla made the index, Jace, and we were talking about it, and I said, you watch how this stock is just going to skyrocket as soon as it hits the index, and it just went poof.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? I'd love you to deep dive on that. Once you hit one of these indexes, you get invested in, and you're off the races. But anyway, one day, not today.
Yeah, not today. Google, Broadcom. I don't know anything about Broadcom. Meta, which is Facebook. Amazon. Everybody knows Amazon. Do these guys just make like purchasing stuff so ridiculously easy? It's like I feel sorry for the shopaholics, because if you're a shopaholic and you have a shopping addiction, like Amazon is going to just destroy your life. Like, I love it. And even the way they parcel things, they put everything in big packages. So when it comes around, you're like, oh, I've got this big package. And that's probably a bad as well. But like, I literally had this huge package today, Jace. And what came out of it, I'm seeing if I can actually got it here, was just this tiny little thing. There was this tiny little charger, and there was this tiny little box within a box. Anyway, I digress. Amazon, unbelievable. One of my favorite companies. Apple, up the top. Microsoft. Now, where the hell did NVIDIA come from? Right? Where did NVIDIA come from? And look,
well, it's exploded on the scene because of AI, right? Because it's worth something now because of the AI chips. So, yeah, what is Broadcom? We've got some researchers on here. Hey, our researching folks, what's Broadcom? Anyway, there you go. Computer game operating systems online now is focused. There you go.
Oh, there you
go. Right, cool.
So
works there up.
People were saying, and this is, and I'm sure somebody else smarter than me is going to coin this. Wouldn't be hard. But my perspective is, we talked about, the tech bubble back in the early 2000s, and we talk about the technology boom. I reckon we're just there. Ask AI. Yeah. Why would we need to ask AI when we can get you guys to ask AI? That's one step of laziness. So this is a real theme for the future, and I think that the technology revolution has only just started. Agricultural revolution came on the scene, revolutionized how we farmed. Some would argue not for better, probably for worse in many countries. In Europe, it's still pretty good. Then the Industrial Revolution changed the way that we built widgets and machines and these sorts of things. We're really just at the beginning phase now, in my belief, of the technology revolution. People will probably coin it and say it's the AI revolution, whatever, same. But
it's the fourth turning, Fenton.
Fourth turning. And so when the mining boom really hit hard in Australia, one of the themes when we were investing on behalf of our clients, and when this was back when I was actually in investment management, some of the themes that made some of our investment managers the best in the world at what they did is that they followed the boom, but they didn't necessarily go, okay, let's just jump into BHP because the mining resources boom. It was the services that support the industry.
So right? The picks and shovels to the gold miners.
Correct. And that was like, some people might remember Monadelphous that went on a rip-roaring run, hasn't done anything for a number of years, but during the mining boom, that company just flew because it was providing services to that industry. So when I think about markets for the future, Jace, I think, well, where are we going and what is not stopping? And it's it's crystal clear. AI is here. AI is on the scene. You've got Bitcoin, you've got all these different types of replacements for fiat currency now, XRP, Ethereum, so on and so forth. So this is going nowhere. So what is the picks and shovels companies of, this next stage of the revolution, the IT or the AI revolution? Well, NVIDIA, classic example, rose from, it was a big company, is absolutely flying. Don't see it stopping. So here's some of the indexes that support that kind of theme of, well, what are the picks and shovels of this new world or this new revolution that we're going through?
Yeah, but quote some of the returns that you were saying the other day. So what's the point? Like, the point is the future on these indexes.
Well,
zoom in. There you go.
Well, so FANG is one of my favorites.
Give the people what they want, Fenton.
FANG is one of my favorites. Hey, I'm getting there. I'm just warming up. I saw Johnson & Johnson before. I'm just warming up slowly. All right. So this is the FANG. Now, I'm not talking about what you do in Jason's car, in his Porsche. No, it's not fanging it around. The FANG used to stand for, and still does, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google. But now this is an index that you can buy into on the stock exchange. You can buy into it in EFTs and beta shares and other things. So you can buy a representation of the FANG. Now, it's not just Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google. It's companies that support that now. So think of it as like a quasi tech index. So this is now, I think, 2 weeks old, because I was going to share this last Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, but we ran out of time. In the last over the last 3 years, which is pretty much since I've been personally in this. And again, not financial advice. You got to do your own research. This is just interest pieces. 44.8% every year for the last 3 years. And if you want to go back 5 years, it's done 24.7% every year for the last 5 years. Absolutely crushing and dominating. And I've told you this, Jace, I reckon that at some point in time, the fifth element will come true. And one of these companies will be effectively the company that rules the planet. And let's hope that it's a good guy, not a bad guy. Let's hope it's Bruce Willis and Mila Djokovic rather than the other guy. So mostly it's in information technology. Consumer discretionary is like Amazon, right? But it's still tech. Communication services would be, Facebook and things like that. So across different areas, but ultimately these are global companies. So flying, huge returns. I put this in here mostly to have a dig at all of my my gold bullion buddies out there, because they've had their heyday, Jace. And it's like, you know what? Harry Dent. Remember Harry Dent? Good old Harry Dent.
I do know good old Harry.
Harry, I shook his hand.
Still waiting for the Australian property market to collapse, Harry.
I shook his hand once. I've got a picture of it. I should bring it on.
Like the Steve Keen's back out again. Anyway, don't start me, Fenton. Get on with it.
Well, I shook his hand and I said, "You ever going to report on anything good happening?" And he didn't even comment. He was just like, "Next." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Harry." Anyway, so my gold bullion buddies, this is your heyday, right? you get it once every 100 years, roughly. So this is your time to jump up and down and say, see, I was right. Because if you just keep saying that you're right for long enough, eventually you'll probably be proven right. And this is your time in the spotlight, right? Last year, 40% rise on gold. Not overly spectacular over time. It's basically the same as, it's actually well short of indexes that we follow, but it's done 10% a year since the inception of this index, which is still reasonable, but it's nothing to write home about. It's like, okay, you got gold in your safe. It's gone up 10%. All right. Okay. No problem. But anyway, it's your time. And I've got a slide for you later just on gold, just to show you how it's compared with other investments. Now, this is one of the big stories. And we talked about this as well. And I remember saying, Jace, that as soon as they create indexes from Bitcoin, then all of a sudden you have got a mass market manipulated currency, or whether it be Bitcoin or any other thing. So I'll talk about that in a minute. 1 year return, 90.9%. So you've almost doubled your money over the last year if you're invested in this index. You don't have to buy Bitcoin. You can trade the index easily. You've got 3 years. It's not the same thing, right? But it is an investment. 3 years, it's done 76% over the last 3 years, every year for the last 3 years. And since inception, it's done over 45%. So you don't have to get a wallet and buy Bitcoin. If you want to track the returns, you can through the market. But buyer beware when it comes to these things as well, because now that the market has these indexes and it has futures where you can short and long the market, well, whatever the hedge fund managers of the world want this thing to do, that's what's going to happen.
I'll do it.
That's what's going to happen. So if they want it to go well, it's going to go well. If they need to claim some losses on their massive dividends, then they'll probably tank it, dump it, and then relaunch it. So now this one is really the picks and shovels, and I have removed the name of it. This is the picks and shovels, and this is something I'm really interested in right now. And I don't know if for those of you who are out there, I'm going to talk about this for a little bit, but do you know what the picks and shovels kind of index of crypto is, of cryptocurrency? Do you know what the picks and shovels version of cryptocurrency is? Because this is a really, really interesting area. So if you look at things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, and yada yada yada. G'day, Sam. Sonny, rather. When you have a look at this industry, you go, okay, well, maybe I don't know what's going. Like, it's not going anywhere. But what are the businesses that support this? Because in my view and my belief, and this hasn't been going long enough to prove me right or wrong yet, but my call is that if you want to get into something that's less volatile, right, than potentially the underlying Bitcoin, so on and so forth, get into the picks and shovels that support it. And I reckon,
I love the return. Negative 81% to positive 250. That's a roller coaster there. I can love it.
So it was the first and second year of launch. So this is one that I play around with, and like I said at the beginning, it's almost like gambling because it's so infant in its market. But this is something called Crypto Innovators. Now, if you're into crypto and you're into this sort of stuff, just go and check it out. It's really interesting because it shows you the industries that are actually supporting it. My longer term view is that, you know, things like this, stocks like this, and the industries that support these, where the future's going, the industries that support it, the technology companies that support it, they're going to have very good, probably more stable growth than the underlying assets, right? Now, there's two types of underlying assets. One is like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, blah, blah, blah. Now, some of those companies are very expensive to buy, right? And one might assert that they will still get very good returns into the future, but they've already had a fairly substantial run, right? But
what are we looking at, Fenton, here?
This is the Crypto Innovators Beta Shares Index, EFT. And so this, I reckon, like if you like crypto, check it out. Have a look and learn about this stuff. because whether it's this or another one, like I don't know, but
this is the picks and shovels index, yeah?
Yeah, this is the picks and shovels of crypto. But what I wanted to illustrate is that these, I think, if you want to start to think about investing and you want to start to think about the themes and the companies for the future,
Shay thinks USB sticks. You've got to put your crypto in cold storage.
USB. USB sticks, condoms, and a ticket to a non-extradition country. What have you got the recipe for there? Geez. Well, you said you don't need to go away with a watch. Anyway, that's kind of my little rant on markets. I've got some other things to kind of support some of the topics that we may or may not jump into, but I just thought that's interesting. And I think that realistically, like I've been doing a lot of thought about it recently, and it's like, okay, we know what the future is going to hold for us. We don't know about wars and all of those sorts of things. Anybody who says that they know, they don't. Right? It's a Harry Dent thing. If you believe it's going to be right and you just keep saying it for 100 years, eventually you'll be right. But when I look at it, I go, well, how do we invest for the future? And it goes back to that first chart, and I might bring it back up actually. If I find it, Jace, can you bring it up for me? Yep, there we go. Right. When we have a look at where we were, which was really the sort of the end of the industrial revolution here, with your Coca-Cola, your telecoms, your industrials, your ciggies, your Marlboro Man, to then where we are now, which is at the beginning of the next, major boom of technology. You start to go, well, okay, what are the picks and shovels of these big companies, and what is going to support that growth? And I think this stuff is going to grow so significantly and get integrated into our lives at such a level, like an intimate level. And when I say intimate, I mean it may be with you in the bedroom, right? Telling you, do this, do that. Like it's everywhere now. And there'll be a world where you go to the toilet, you poo, and it says, oh no, dose up a little bit more on vitamin
We've already
D.
got that in self-flushing loos. The Japanese are right ahead of this. I love them.
There you go. It's going to be everywhere. You've got the bidet. You don't even need to wipe. You sit down, you poo, you pee, you get your blood test results back. You probably get a prostate exam.
I think we're straying from the theme.
My point being is that like people say, oh no, the market's over. It's already boomed too much. No. Right. There will be falls from graces for those companies that fall out of favor with where the world's going. And there will be companies that become mega giant, huge, ridiculous companies of the world. Yeah. And it's like, let's look for the picks and shovels of AI and this boom. And that's how I'm thinking about investing for the future.
So some takeaways there for me from hearing you talk about that, Andy, is that, they may be the undervalued ones, the shining glory, like let's say NVIDIA right now, get a piece of that through an index. But, what could be the one that could do 2,000, 5,000, 10,000% over the next 5 years? That's part of that picks and shovels of that industry. So I like that. It's great. I'm a big fan. I love real estate because you can get leverage and get good return. But, I certainly haven't achieved a 500, 1,000, a 223% return from a buy and hold piece of real estate. But at the end of the day, it's better than gold. My real estate portfolios perform better than gold. I can tell you that.
well, just to whack one up the goldies, because everyone's going, see, best investment. If we have a look at gold price against the S&P 500, so just against the US market by itself since 1870, well, gold really just didn't get out, right? It sat on its hands for the best part of 40 years, 50 years. Really didn't do much. We had the big splurge in the 90s, and realistically, it's really only been short-term last 10 years where it's really started to take off. If you just invested in the US index, you would be miles in front.
The thing is, the missing context in this conversation though is, why would you be in gold, or whatever. Like at the end of the day,
I
Andy
don't
and I
don't
say
don't
this all the time.
don't let them win. Shh! Don't tell them that, Jason.
No, but
I wanted to stick it up the gold bullion buddies.
but I mean, it's true though, because you can have better. There's way better than gold. But you know, cash is trash, and this is the thing you and I talk about all the time, Andy. Is like a lot of people who don't understand the world of money and wealth and hedging against inflation at a minimum, for fuck's sake, and then outperforming inflation by a gazillion percent, is that fiat devalues over time. Governments print money. Smart people put their wealth that they create in things that offset the devaluation of fiat and the devaluation of inflation. One of those is gold. People like the idea of gold. You and I like the idea of investments. S&P 500 outperformed a storage of, a place of wealth and storage. Gold's pretty good, but S&P index is better. Property's not bad too. There you go.
Well, do you want me to just one more little tidbit, and I'll throw it over to you. So we've left breadcrumbs, but what stock has gone up 455,300% in the last 20 years? What stock has gone up 455,300% in the last 20 years, and the bulk of that growth was really over the last 10?
I don't know. Is it nothing I own? Sarah said, dang, I wouldn't mind $1 in that. Imagine you had $100 in it. That I'd love to know $100. Anyway, put us out of our misery, Fenton? I'm gonna have a guess. Oh, Nvidia.
It's
Bullshit.
Nvidia.
That's
right?
So good.
And look what it did. Nothing. 2018, it was like nothing. And realistically, 2020, right? So this is roughly when the M series chip started to come out.
Hey, look, Alexis got it. Yes.
There you go.
Woohoo.
So realistically, and let's just take it from 2022, have a look at that. 1,400% growth since 2022. It's just absolutely astronomical. And this is an example of the kinds of things and opportunities that are going to be sitting out there that are related to tech and all things tech, hardware, software, you name it. Bathroom utilities.
Crazy time. Well, that's the thing though, but robots are here. I mean, go check out the latest Google, the latest Google catch up. They had their robots on the stage. The Salesforce, big Salesforce gathering in San Francisco just recently. It's only just getting started in those spaces, Andy. So I think one of the big innovations right now is in longevity of life, but not only longevity, but the quality of longevity. The baby boomers have got money, and they want a high quality, long life, folks. So, what are those medical innovations that are coming? All that sort of stuff's pretty exciting.
And look, just those people are XYZ Jenners. Just beware. The reason why they want to live longer is you keep blaming them for the problems that exist today in housing and wealth and all of these sorts of things. That now that they're just going to live longer out of spite, like that. That's the
well. Here's the drill though. Here's the drill, which is interesting. Which is, we flip the switch here. They will live longer, but they've got the wealth. They've got some money. Everyone wants a piece of it, Fenton. Not only do the complaining millennials want a piece of the retiring baby boomers' money, you got to get some. Relax, you lot. Jesus, relax, chill out. You'll get some, get some cash.
But don't let the government take it.
This is the thing. Here's what I want to jump in and talk about because,
this is a can of worms, Jace. All right, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be here for another hour and a half, I reckon.
Well, the government, the the sitting government has tried to increase the taxes on super.
It's an appropriate word, isn't it? Sitting government. What are you
Government.
sitting on? Everything. What are you
Everything.
doing? Nothing.
I tell you, nothing. Well, anyway, so they've backtracked a little, and said, all right, well, let's not do that tax unrealized gains. That's not popular. We won't get reelected. But we did a little deep dive, Andy, and we found out, all right, what's going on with taxing super? Folks, there's already 20 taxes in the super system. 20. This is bullshit. Crazy times. So let's have a look at them. I was just like,
just before we do, Jace, can I just give a shout out to our friends at the Financial Review? I think it's a good quid pro quo because we've been using a lot of your stuff for a few years, and I really appreciate seeing a lot of what we distribute on Wealth, Wine, and Wisdom now coming out in the next version of the Fin Review. So look, maybe just try and at least change a few words, right? I think tax-free for a lifetime. Geez, they've literally just taken exactly what we've said and just printed it. But hey, look, we appreciate you watching the show. We appreciate reading articles that we didn't write in the Fin Review, because that gets it out there more broadly. And to be fair, we've been showing your content around for a little while. But just wanted to say to all those journalists that have been taking our content and redistributing it out into the ether, thank you for your support. Every now and again, it wouldn't be bad if you just credit who actually came up with the idea, but that's
our name on it, because we tell everyone we got it from the Fin Review. Anyway,
we do 100%. we don't want to get done by copyright.
But anyway, I thought I'd have a quick look at this one, because you're talking about the idea of the baby boomers and bits and pieces. Where's the money in Australia? The government's not going to let go of this stuff. There's already 20 taxes, and this was crazy. Contributions, Div 293. What a bloody joke that is. Hey, here's the drill. Earn more, and then they'll tax your super more.
Well, so there's a couple of tricks here, right? So contributions going in 15% when they're deductible contributions, right? Now, deductible contributions, you've got a maximum cap of 30,000 that you can put in each year. Terms and conditions apply. You've got carry forward that you can access, but extraordinary way to minimize tax. Then non-concessional, you get no tax deduction, but there's zero tax on the way in. But then if you earn too much, right? If you earn over $250,000, including your super contributions, then you get a bonus tax. And this is a rip snorter, Jace, because this is what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to the game of tax. And if you're listening, this is a cracker to learn right now. Above 250, you get an extra 15% tax on your super. So riddle me this, right? So for the full $30,000 that you're allowed to put into super, if you're at 280,000 super contributions and taxable income, you have a tax rate of 47% on your income, plus an additional 15% that's on your superannuation. So that's an active increase in a tax rate of 62%. 62% active for $30,000 as soon as you go over that 250.
Where's the motivation to, it's a complete joke. And that's,
well, I was watching John Howard with Mark Boris recently, and a great interview, actually. It's well worth a watch. And one of the things that he said, stop tinkering with the system, because the system was designed to take the pressure off the government funding retirees. And now that the retirees are effectively starting to fund themselves, they're now trying to change the system or manipulate it so you can't get as much in there. It's just a cash grab, mate. It doesn't, politically, it's dumb. Anybody who does not support superannuation in Australia needs their heads read, because what we had beforehand was much, much worse, right? And we are the envy of the world.
Well, let me progress with my my little prezzo here, because this is the point I was going to get to. There's a lot of taxes in here, and then there's so much, it goes on.
Look at those, 47%. If you screw up and you exceed some of your caps, your non-concessional caps, and this is just dumb. it doesn't revert back to your normal tax rate. It goes to 47%. Why, Jace? It's like what you make the system, make it more complicated than it needs to be, and then whack people with a massive stick if they by the tiniest of margins get things wrong. It's insane. So how many different taxes were there? Was there 20?
There's 20 taxes on your super already that you've got to navigate, which is hideously complex, which is brain dead, right? At the end of the day, this is the thing. Allow people to self-fund in an effective way. So the future, which is our children, they're already going to fucking have to deal with the debt that this government shit the bed on, and now they're saying, oh, well, you know what, let's tax super because we don't want retirees to be self-funded. We want our future children to pay for them. Bullshit. But check this out, right? So Chalmers on 2.0, Andy's favorite guy. But this is the part that I wanted to sort of say, Andy. It's like, all right, folks, I dare you to have a problem that's worth solving. For most of us right now, if you don't already have a plan to get 2 million or more into your super, you need to be chatting to Andy right now. And up there in the corner is a QR code if you want to know how to get 2 million in your super and have a tax-free retirement, folks. Or bring forward some of your wealth into a tax-free or a low-tax environment. Scan that code because Andy runs a couple of webinars on this specifically. So if you haven't already, make sure you join Andy on the Freedom Machine webinar. But listen, 10 million super cap. If they say, all right, well, someone has 10 million in their super, now they're going to charge them, 40+%. At the end of the day, Andy, that just brings in new strategies, right? Brings in new strategies.
And we've been talking about this for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
This stuff started, team. This stuff started at the end of the sort of COVID lockdowns. That's when they started throwing this stuff around, just testing it, and it was in some campaigns. And Jason and I were like, this is going to be frontline news soon, because what we do know about our good old treasurer is that he loves the gear. He's in disguise. I'm not sure where he's in disguise, but he loves the gear. He loves the tax. Definitely hooked. Definitely hooked on the old tax. Smoking the tax joint.
Well, listen, they're not going to be able to
treasurer.
They're not going to be able to keep their fingers out of it, right? Because Australia's set to be the second largest pension market within the next decade. Well, actually, second largest in total money, Andy. We are already the largest per capita on the planet. So crazy stuff. So you check this out. So there's going to be trillions, in the super system. Plenty of people. I'm a big fan of a self-managed, so you can try and keep it away from them. But check this out. This is where you and I talk about it. All right, well, where is the money in Australia, and where can they go after the taxes? Well, land and dwellings, most of that is people's homes. So, they're already talking about taxing, spare bedrooms, which is a joke. And then superannuation reserves, 4.1 trillion. That's going to double in the next decade to 8 trillion. And, there you go. So, I don't think that I don't think they're going to be able to keep their fingers out of the pie, Andy. But you got to have a strategy, folks. And I'm going to finish with this one, Andy, and then I'll throw it back to you.
We need the Donald Trump moment. It's like, hang on, politicians.
Coming.
You're fired.
You're fired. As the good old real estate thing. The average homeowner, retiree, is worth 6 times more than the retired renter. So buy a house, folks. Get your super in order. The PPR upgrade strategy, the tax-free for life super strategy, are what we call 2 big weapons of wealth in our world. And you have a look right there. Land and dwellings, 11 trillion in Australia. Superannuation, 4 trillion. The stock market, pretty good in AU, probably much larger from other places in the world. But if you want to understand a bit more about that, scan that code on the screen there, because Andy's going to do a deep dive on it if anyone's interested.
Yes. And for all the journalists out there, if you want to try and figure out how to have $10 million tax-free for a lifetime, you might have to actually pay to come along to one of our events because that's where we share it. So we'd love to see you there. We'd love to see you there. As a matter of fact, just reach out. I'd love to have a chat, actually. It'd be great to riff together, and maybe we can help each other out. So give us a call. It'd be great to chat. And I'm genuinely serious there. I am. So hopefully we'll hear from you. And you don't ever have to quote us. It's probably easier to keep our names out of it. But I think next week, Jace, because it's just hit 5 o'clock, and we try and do things on time here responsibly. Not really, but
I had so much more.
I've got heaps. I haven't getting warmed up at the moment, but I do have on the cards. Like I'm sure that people want to know what interest rate's going to do. I've got the top 4 predictions of what they're going to do over the next 6 to 12 months.
All right. Well, give us a yes in the chat, folks, if you want to understand the predictions of interest rates. And we want to find out what's going on in Victoria when it comes to credit ratings. That's an interesting one. What does OpenAI hire in the last 3 weeks? That's a good one.
Yep. Yeah, well, and here's the thing, how long's the market going to run? Well, that's interesting. It's probably going to run as long as the interest rates remain reasonably predictable in a stalling, falling pattern. And Alexis, it's not in Queensland yet. That's a good point. That's it. Doesn't daylight savings, like, come on, team, like, just get on with it. Like, just become a part of it. Like,
it's annoying. I reckon that Brisbane Gold Coast anyway should, but there you go.
It's just so confusing. Like, we got team that miss appointments. I know that it happens every year, and it's only 1 hour time difference, but it just throws us all into chaos. Come on, get the tram tracks and the time zones on the same course. Anyway, topic for another day. But yeah, interest rates, bond yields. Where's the market going? What about the productivity? What about total interest rate market across the world? Because there's a bit of a theme happening, Jason. And the good part about that is we love themes. We say, let the trend be your friend. And at the moment, there's some very, very strong trends, which, can give you some very good insights over the next, 6, 12 months into the future, bar any major horrible event happening in, the geopolitical Department of War world. But other than that, I think that there's some really positive signs for short term in a number of areas. Not so positive for medium term, but then long term, I think that there's some mega trends arising now, and that's something that really, if you get on the right side of this, people go, "Geez, I'd love to have bought Apple at $1." Well, keep your eyes peeled, team, because there's a new Apple, and it's probably already here. We just haven't figured out just quite yet who it is.
There you go. Were you making a point then, Fenton?
That was the point. Keep your eyes peeled. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll talk about interest rates, some global trends. I thought I was pretty short and concise there, Whitten.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Other than verbose and irrelevant.
Well, I don't think we can do an outro anyway, so
let's see if we can do a video.
I clicked it. It's not working.
It's not working. Well, sorry we didn't have the fanfare today, team. Not our fault. Blame AI, because that's what ruined the production value of the show. But hopefully we made up for it with the content.
Well, here you go, Fenton. This is for you. Thanks for joining us, folks. Great to have you here. Take care.
We'll see you next Friday for another episode of Wealth, Wine and Wisdom. Choose your beverage. Choose your companions, which is Jason and I, and your significant others. Next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel. It's a good night for me.
And it's a good night from him, folks.